Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Red Dawn. My name is Kyri, and today we are doing our analysis of Liverpool's 1-0 win over Inter Milan at the San Siro in the Champions League. What a win! We finally got a win thanks to a last-minute penalty converted by Dominic SZOBOSZLAI. Wasn't the prettiest of wins, but we will absolutely take it because going into the game, Liverpool were under pressure. No Salah, a tough away trip to the San Siro, and a team that hasn't quite clicked in attack lately. You could sense this was going to be a battle rather than a showcase of flowing football. We all know how good Inter Milan has been in the Serie A and also in the Champions League as well. You know, we're facing last season's finalists, and that's how exactly it played out. You know, the first half was a bit cagey, neither side really taking control. Liverpool, they they thought they'd broken the deadlock when Kanate headed in from a close range, but VAR, after an unnecessary amount of time, they chalked it off after spotting a handball in the build-up, and that just kind of summed up the first half. Just half chances, frustration, and a feeling that we were one moment short of really settling into the game. And Inter then had a little spell before the break, forcing Allison into a sharp save. You know, it was a brilliant, brilliant ball by Martinez, but overall, neither side looked like scoring. The second half was more of the same. It was tight, scrappy, just lacking rhythm. Our attack just struggled to link up, and Alexander Isak in particular, he just couldn't get into the game. It just felt like one of those nights where, you know, the longer it went on, the more you accepted that if a goal came, it will come from something scrappy or dodgy, dramatic, rather than a slick team move. You know, we've seen it so many times with, especially in the set pieces. Um, but that's what happened. Not conceding for a set piece, thankfully, but the turning point was Florian Wirtz coming off the bench. You know, his movement and his sharpness just immediately gave Liverpool a different direction. And eventually, pardon me, he was brought down into the box. The ref went to VAR. And after what it felt like eternity, penalty was given. And it was such a massive moment. Dominic Szoboszlai, probably our best player of this for us this season. He stood up with all the pressure on his shoulders, and he tucked it away with real composure in the 88th minute. Um, Liverpool, they win 1-0 at the San Siro in the Champions League without Mohamed Salah. This was huge, huge result. And from there, we just kept Inter away at arm's length, and we just saw out what was a massive away win. And as said, it wasn't a performance full of attacking. You know, it's not a win for the ages, but it was a grit and grind. It was tough. It was disciplined, and a mentally strong European win away from home. And you just absolutely take that every single time. You know, you can have 50, 50 shots on target, but at the end of the day, you know, we've seen this many times as well. The opposition can have half of those shots on goal and can win the game. You don't have to play the best game of football to take the 3 points. We've certainly seen that over time. At the end of the day, it's all about getting the 3 points. That's football, and Liverpool simply did that. Let's get into some players. Starting off with our goalkeeper, Allison. While he didn't have loads to do, what Inter finally threatened the ball. He dealt with it calmly right before in the first before at halftime. Martinez's shot on goal. His handling and positioning was spot on, and he gave the defense confidence, a steady performance that helped secure the clean sheet. So well done from Allison. On the right hand side, we had Joe Gomez. He defended reasonably well, didn't get exposed often, but he didn't offer much going forward. It was a safe, tidy display. Nothing spectacular, but nothing disastrous either. So it was an okay shift from Joe Gomez. Ibrahima Kanate, he was good. He looked strong. He looked aggressive all game, and he won his battles and stepped in front of attackers. And even though he scored before VAR intervened, this was one of his better showings recently. And hopefully he could put some better performances like that, because he was more powerful, more focused, more reliable, along with his centre back partner in Virgil van Dijk. And yeah, he just played the calming presence that Liverpool needed. He read the play well, dealt with the crosses, and just never looked troubled. And his composure basically set the tone for the whole back line. Andy Robertson on the left-hand side, like Gomez, he kept things simple, didn't bomb forward as much as usual, but he did focus on more of protecting his side. Defensively solid, even though he wasn't heavily involved in the attacking build-up. Into the midfield, Ryan Gravenberch. Yeah, a much better showing from him. He kept the ball moving, showed good awareness, and broke up Inter's play consistently. One of the most important players on the pitch for Liverpool in terms of stability. We hadn't seen that for Gravenberch for a while, so it was great to see him back in much better form. Dominic Soboslai, you know what you get out of him, full of energy and urgency. He kept trying to force something to happen, and he pressed well, carried the ball forward when chances opened up, and most importantly, kept his nerve to bury in the late penalty, and his influence grew as the game went on. We love this man. Absolute machine, Dominic Soboslai. Curtis Jones, I thought he was really good. He played with intent. He's always looking forward to get on the ball and drive the team forward. He was probably one of the best players in the first half. He faded a bit after half time, but overall, he just brought life into Liverpool's midfield and tried to take responsibility in tight moments. Alexis McAllister, yeah, not one of his best performances, if I'm being honest. He helped maintain possession when he had the ball, but there was just no influence in the middle of the ground. Just no creativity, no risk. Yeah, he just hasn't been at the races today. And as I said before in previous videos, he just needs to spell on the bench. Like, we know how good McAllister is. He's a world-class player, but at this moment, he's just simply not up to it. Okay performance, but it was low impact. Hugo Ekitike, he was really good, worked hard, made himself available for passes, and there were moments where he looked lively. With that being said, he did struggle to turn those moments into genuine chances. There's lots of effort, absolutely no doubt about it. You're always going to get effort from Ekitike, but yeah, just no decisive contribution. But absolutely no doubt the work rate is there. Alexander Isak, tough night in the office for him. Yeah, he just hardly got involved, couldn't link up effectively. And yeah, he was just really quiet. You know, we all been saying that yeah, he just hasn't been at it so far for us, and he's come in with a heavy price tag. We fought so hard for him to get him over the line in the summer, and yeah, he's just got to repay it. we just got to see something out of this guy. We know how world class he can be, but he's got to do it himself. Probably the least impactful on the pitch, if I'm being completely honest. Florian Wirtz, yeah, just completely changed the flow of the game as soon as he came on. He just injected sharpness, movement, and unpredictability. Exactly what we have been missing. He won the penalty, which was the moment the match turned, and it came from his willingness to take on defenders. Connor Bradley added energy down the right late on, and he helped Liverpool see out the result. You know, you're always going to get, yeah, I thought he absolutely worked his socks off. You're always going to see him willing to drive forward, and he simply did that. Yeah, it's just something what we needed at that in the second half of that match as well. Unfortunately, he will be missing out the Premier League game against Brighton, but yeah, he was really good when he came on the pitch. So yeah, in summary of that, while Liverpool didn't play sparkling football, they showed discipline, mental strength, defense was solid, midfield kept things under control, and even though the attack struggled, the substitutes changed during the game when it mattered the most. It was a gritty, hard-earned win, and that's the kind of result you need in European away matches. But what about you? Who's your man of the match for this one? Oh, I didn't even say my man of the match. I mean, you're gonna have to say Dominic Soboslai, don't you? He won the penalty for us, but what he does all over the pitch, just absolutely exceptional. I'm going to have to give it to Soboslai. But what is your man of the match for this one? If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe, share it to your mates. This has been Kyri from the Red Dawn, and as always, up the Reds.